Here we go. This is the actual title game. And so I'm going to play at a level here that we've never seen me play at before. Watch. When the stakes are highest, I play my best. This is why I do permadeath. This is why I do, even if I haven't been that good lately. I'll even use my Space Invaders set. This is a big moment, because once we go here, we're never coming back. We're never going to be 1500 in Classical ever. I went from permadeath if I go below 1500 to now we're 100. We have 100 points of cushion. So how could we ever lose that? I'm not going to up the permadeath to 16 because that would be just unfair, but it wouldn't matter. I feel bad for whoever this guy's going to be, because no matter how much of a clown I am, this one game I won't be. And then I'll lose the next one and fall below 16 again. Now we don't go in cocky, but we go in focused. I don't even care if I'm black. Well, I did say that. It could be a title game for him too if he gains 6 from it. So this is very fitting. Right, we're basically playing for the 1600 crown. And so you could mirror this, or you could play King's Indian. Do I put my faith in a very flawed and objectively, what's the word for it? Objectively refuted opening? I guess I could. Just calculate every move, don't blunder a piece. He's going to take the center pretty hardcore. So I have to question my decision making a little bit. I'm not exactly sure how to react to this kind of pawn push. He takes, I can't take back. He takes, I could take, but then I'm giving up a center pawn. It almost seems like the natural development would be this. Now the bishop could come outside his pawns and he'd have to block with an actual piece. So he gives me a free check into a castle. Or I could still do this, although I don't know exactly. This push always bothers me. So even if, like, let's say he got it all the way here, I bring it here ahead of time, then I would take, he would take, I still wouldn't be able to take. That's why I don't like doing this, because there's nowhere for the horse to go. If anything, this is the kind of game where you want to do this maybe. So I'll go 1 square up and then open the bishop to a free development here. No mistakes, no blunders. If I don't blunder a piece, that's all I ask for. Just play solid. Don't give anything easy. So he could take, so he's pinning it down into the queen. But it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. This is a good multi-purpose move because you push the bishop out, but you also allow the horse to come here. I don't want to do that with the bishop. And the reason why is because I guess I could give a check and then come back. Like, what would be the harm? I guess I'm giving him free development for nothing. I guess I will do it, but see, now we could do a weird kind of thing, like take, and then if he takes, I take for free. But then again, if I take and he takes, then I have to take, and then he'll take. But then I'll take. So would that be good? I would take, no. I would take a pawn, he would take a bishop, I would take a bishop, he would take a horse. No, he would just get a free piece for nothing. So let's see what he can do with this horse. I can't do much with mine. I have to actually calculate the horse moves out completely because I'm very bad with them. It's a very illogical piece. My brain is not L-shaped. It's diagonal shaped, X shaped, or horizontal shaped like a T. So take and take. I think castling is the correct move, but let's just think about it for a minute. Think about all the implications. Basically, his main advantage here to start, which is very simple to see, is just how well he's developed the pawns in the center. So I would bring this one out very promptly if I was him. And then it just feels very imposing from white. In fact, I would have probably done that sooner. I don't know what the other one is about, but he could be doing some crazy opening that I'm just not familiar with. So the bishop and the horse are kind of at odds with one another for him. And it opens up one of my favorite things to do in the early game, which is the double take. I would take, he would take, I would take. The problem is if I unleash into something, he could take this first, then that forces me to address the take. So I can't really do that. It might work better if you were like threatening his queen, because then he would take, I would take the queen, and then he would take back, and then I would take, but it still ends up being basically the same thing. So it's worth doing the unleash just for the sake of it, but The problem is I don't even have anywhere good to go. Like, really, what is the point of a move like that? Nothing. It's kind of a cheap, easy tactic that doesn't really work against decent players, which this guy probably should be. I could do something like this, and he gives it somewhere to go still. I'm not exactly sure what these horse moves are going to do for me. Let's look. I'm inventing a new movement pattern for the horse, because the current one just doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. Let's take our time. We have 26 minutes to get there. Right? Nobody said it'll be an easy journey or a quick journey. This will be a stepping stone to me getting to fucking 2,000 if I really put my mind to it and actually study, which I refuse to do. Ever. Like, how much have I studied since coming back like almost a year ago now? Never. Aside from looking at like maybe the analysis a little bit after games, but I guess I did that more on chess.com. I don't really like how this site works as much, but so you could back off to like h4. Now the thing about that move is I don't want to push it like with the pawns in terms of g5. That's stupid, right? You don't want to open the king like that, even though that used to be a bad habit of mine. It feels like, oh, it's such free development. You get to threaten. So he takes and he neutralizes whatever threat that could have caused. Now it allows us to attack here, but the horse covers. So now sets up for maybe the other bishop developing. Let's think about the path of these pawns. If he pushes, I would take, he would take. So that equalizes the center with the center. So the biggest mistake you could make is doing something like this, where you allow an outer pawn to eat a center pawn, and now you're left with one, assuming that center pawn value is unquestionable, which even the whole rating system is built around center pawn, right? I don't know if that's what it really means, but yeah, really, what is that term? Equal value of 1/100th of a pawn. So 100 center pawns equals 1 pawn. So what does that mean? Center pawn loss. How could center pawn loss only be 40 then in a game? Oh, I guess it's stuff that you're giving up without good cause. But it's not like there's any reason not to take it. I'm just trying to see. So he's got to watch out about the push here, right? If I did this and he took, he kind of just sees the future, though, of exactly what I'm going to try to do. The idea that this pawn would be a weak link now because I could take there. But now he's attacking with the bishop itself. Now I can reorient to try to... Look at this bishop just completely owned by the horses right now. Nowhere to go at all. You would have to just come here and then come like this and give a check. So he's being very active with the horses, which concerns me. Either he knows what he's doing or he's just playing dangerously. But then again, the horse pair is a non-existent concept. There's no such thing and it sucks. You can play the opening as fast as you want, dude. 2 minutes. Everybody's so impressed. Just don't use it as an excuse when you lose. He would take, I would take, he would take. Now, generally, that could be an okay move because we're eating up a center pawn. And so I'm going to do it even though I have my misgivings about sort of the desirability of that trade. I'm not going to do a push like this. This just seems like the logical move. He would take, I would take, he would take. Wait. He would take, I would take. No, it's bad because he takes a pawn, I take a pawn, he takes. There's not enough on there. He takes, I take, he takes. Why did I think that would work? Maybe we do this first and then do it? And so he won't be able to take. If he pushes, I guess I could just keep going. This is kind of a tough pawn concept. Like, what am I trying to do with the pawns right now? He prevents the check, which is pretty sensible. There's no reason to do that. Let's do this one, even though it looks maybe a little bit odd. If he pushes here, I can come here. If he pushes here, I can come here. So I don't want to trade these pawns, right? I wouldn't want to take. There's no reason to do it. He's not going to do anything with it, though. Okay. So he opens the light square bishop, which can threaten precisely nothing at this exact moment. This almost seems like a good, juicy threat, because now this is uncovered. And so the problem is, even if he moved it, I would take, but then he would take with the queen, so we don't get to open the king. So we can't quite play it like that. So let me think back now. Take into take into take into take. If he lets me take, it doesn't matter what he takes with because he lost the center pawn. I'm treating that like the only meaningful thing in the game of chess is the center pawns, but they are important. So what if he pushes it? I could still do this, but that does create some problems now because you're kind of... This one is going to be very weak. But I think it's a logical move. Basically, I want him to take. He would take, I would take, then he can't take with the horse. And so it could be good. If I was to take, again, I would just eat up a center pawn. He comes out. He could take it with the horse, but still, that's fine. He pushes, so that I'm a little bit uncomfortable with that. Take into take. Now, the only good thing with that is maybe this pawn is isolated and you get like a free attack on it, but I don't... I think what I'd rather do is something like this. Then you'll be threatening. His pawn structure does look intimidating. I'll give him that. Maybe if I do this, he has... No, he could take with the queen even. There's no guarantee. I was going to say, if I take it, at least pulls this one, but then he gets another center pawn. I don't know. He's not going to make any basic mistakes. So this one is very much a concern of mine. The d6 pawn. We have to keep a strong eye on that. We have two pieces covering. I don't really like what my dark square bishop is doing. I see some possible future for the light square bishop later, but maybe you could do something like this, take. It's not enough, though. So it's very curious as to what to do with the horse right now. He would take, I would take. He brings it here, so he could set up for something with the queen later. The horses can't come in at all. My other previous bishop threat doesn't work. So he come here, then he can't move the horse. But is there any reason to really do that? The only way it would make sense is if I... See, now I almost have a bad habit of doing this sometimes. Opening the rook. And so he moves the horse, but then he still can't take with the bishop. Where does he move the horse? He has to go back. Can't go there, can't go there. Can't... Actually, he could go... Wait, no. He could go there. This is the kind of move that I just kind of force it too much, maybe. Hey, Rev. Cute pixel horsey. Bad habit wins a piece. Let's see. He goes back. He wouldn't take. I wouldn't take. So the bishop looks very juicy right now as far as something you want to finally develop and move. This is kind of ominous. I don't really get this. It just seems too early to do it, but I'll try it. So now the horse has to go back. Oh, we get a fork. I didn't even see the meaning of my own move. Of course. I guess he kind of helped me with that because I was kind of doubting it. I don't know if I should be allowed to do stuff like that. It was my idea, but I guess even when he said it, though, I still didn't understand what would happen. That's a very advanced two-move calculation that I haven't yet mastered. Apparently this guy hasn't either. So if he moves the horse anywhere, I get to fork. Man. I like how easily some people can see stuff like that. It should be easy, I guess, once you get to a certain level. So he might sack the horse or something, like here. Well, now he's giving it up regardless. So what he's going to set up for is the ability to take and then have a double diagonal. And so, obviously you have to take it. But, let's see what happens. You can come like this. He would take, I would take, he would take. So this is a little bit scary with the check. The other horse still can't do a whole lot. So unless this somehow gets me mated, I should be okay. Can't really do that. I kind of just want to do this to block the double diagonal, but I can't. So what's to stop him from doing that? There's really not a whole lot. I guess I could just move preemptively. He doesn't have enough to really create a credible threat, though. He comes in, he comes there. So I would really need... Oh, that would be kind of dangerous. But if he comes there in the first place, I take. So the horse is pretty weak. I guess I'll do this, and the reason why is just to prevent the check. He could still come in there, though. But then he has to keep the queen attached, which could be a little bit tricky. So I would have wanted to unleash and do this, but I can't really do that. Would this be a possible trap scenario? Not really, unless this was covered. Then he takes, I take. I could bring the rook there. I'm always obsessive over trying to, like, open the king pawn, too, but this just isn't the kind of game for it. He's being very hesitant to castle himself, too. He's playing kind of aggressive. So the biggest thing is... I could give a check. Take, take, take. Wouldn't that be like just a guaranteed plot? Even if he does it, I would take, he would take, I would take. He could block with a queen. I could double stack a pawn. There's no scenario with this that looks necessarily bad for me. I don't know what the queen is really doing either. I guess I'll try it. At least I'm using my time. See, you might think, oh, you should be worried about time, but I'd rather lose on time than not use my time. That's always my philosophy. So whenever I see that, I'm actually encouraged. It shows you that I'm at least trying and thinking a little bit. Even if I can't calculate a simple 2-move sequence. I'm very bad at picturing what the implication of my move is going to be. Right? Like, I know what I'm doing, and I know what the point of what I'm doing is in my own mind. But I don't see what happens as a result. Like, I lose a cover or I give something up. If he comes like that, I would take, he would take, I would still take. The horse is pinned down. And so I don't really know what that does for me. I almost want to dive into, like, double attack this. So he has to push like that, which could be a very awkward pawn structure for him. I don't know exactly if that's so good. The queen isn't under any threat, and even if he tried to put it under a threat, I could easily just benefit from that as well. So he has to address the f2 pawn. He's going to push g6, or I mean g3. Where did I get 6 from? So yeah, I at least like these moves that are very forcing. You know exactly what he's going to do. He doesn't have a choice but to do it. I guess now... There's no reason to keep letting him threaten now. Let's just go back. This pawn is very weak, like I said, so we'll justify it. My queen side is very poorly developed. I will say that. He might just put the bishop there and then let it sit there. We couldn't double attack the horse. Even if I did, he would take back with the queen. So I actually just won a piece outright, which isn't a super common occurrence, honestly. Let's see what this does. He come like this. I would take, he would take, which is fine. He would take, I would take, which is also fine. So now I've got my eye on trying to bring the bishop maybe this way, because the other side is totally shut down. This is still in the diagonal with the king, so you could theoretically pin down the horse again, but it'll take a bit of work. Trying to look at all the other possibilities here. The horse seems like just not a priority right now. So nothing else is covering this piece, so we can either take or we could keep going, which is kind of dangerous to him. He would take, I would check, and he could just block, but he at least has to think about it. Comes like that. I would take, he would take, I would still be able to take. You could push, and I could either take or... Okay, I didn't see that possibility. But it's still not covered or anything, so I guess it's fine. Or no, I guess I did just say that. What's the next move? Can't do that. Could do that. I could easily escape. This pawn looks kind of vulnerable, in fact. He could come like that. It's not like the queen could possibly get trapped, so I'm not really too worried about it. All I have to do is create a credible threat on the queen side here. You could bring this here and set up for an x1 diagonal if he doesn't leave the bishop there. There might be some way. We could also take this pawn. Man, he at least sees the threats, though. Maybe the fourth thing was a bit too much, but You could do like this, but then he takes. Let's see, what else do I have here? I really wanted to bring out the bishop, so he would take, I would take is very bad for me. So maybe I should just take. I would take, he would take, or I would take, he would take. There's no reason to split the pawns like that. Absolutely not. I guess what I could do is put it here, so then if he takes, I take and double threaten there. The problem is if he keeps pushing it, that could be very bad for me because I can't take. I could really regret it if I... But then again, if I take, then he takes, then he can still do the same exact thing. I guess I'm hoping he takes it, but he won't take it, I guarantee it. And so now we're leaving the one cover on this piece, which could come back to bite me. We still got 14 minutes. Brings a horse forward, attacking the very piece in question. And so now we have to recalibrate my way of thinking. How do I cover it? I don't want to bring the bishop back. But that could be one of those instances where you just don't want to admit that you were wrong for putting it there in the first place. What other implication is there? He's double attacking, so he would take, I would take, he would take, I would take. He kind of gets what he wants still out of it. I mean, I have to cover this. There is no other play. So now if I did that, he would take, I would take, he would take back. Even if he does it now. But he would have to give something up, I guess. So maybe the only logical thing you can do is bring the rook, which wasn't doing much anyway. I like the fact that he castled queenside because it's often very bad. That was what I was afraid of him doing. It's like I'm assuming he might not make the right play there, or at least what I think is the right play. I could create a double threat, but it doesn't really lead to anything. I could do this so that if he ever moves the bishop, which he might do soon, out of this diagonal, then I could just take it. Or no, I still can't. Pretty poor development on my part, I'll admit. I could just leave the bishop there to body block, but for how long, really? He'll come like this, possibly. I'll create the double attack, which might be pretty weak, honestly, but let's see. We got to just keep an eye on that d6. If we ever lose the d6, I should just resign in theory, because you can't play like that. So he moves the bishop, which opens up this take, which means I could come back, but then he can lose the cover, and it's kind of like a back and forth sequence. Let's do... I don't want to leave the queen in the way of that. Is there any other logical place to go? I could go... It seems like the logical, intuitive thing to do, but the problem is he could just come back, because I could just take this for free now, even as scary as that might look. Like, oh, he can unleash into an attack on the queen. He can't really give a check or anything. Pretty intense game, unlike the last one where the guy just gave it up for nothing. I don't know what happened there. What if I create another double attack? Like, take. Doesn't really work. Have to create like a triple attack. He's really cementing the pawns down. He's not going to give me anything easy. I could take the horse with the bishop. Would I want that is the question. I could give a check, and he can only block, let's say, with the horse. So that's an interesting thing that opened up. Or he could just move the king, but I guess I can try it. And in fact, now this piece is no longer under threat, so the two kind of go together. I'm not just moving the bishop for the fuck of it. It's actually like, we don't need it there, although there's not a lot of places we can go with it. So I think he'll block on d2 with the horse, which doesn't actually hurt him much at all, but he actually just moves. So my bishop is actually free to just hold that diagonal down. He could push it out pretty easily, but let's see. This pawn kind of scares me, which is why I didn't want to do that. I really want to develop, but the problem is I can't, because if I do it here, then he takes the other thing. I mean, this horse is going to be the end of me if I let it. It's hard to say, but I'm going to make a trade here that might be very regrettable. I don't know. And the reason why is because I want to remove that threat on the d6. I just don't want to have to deal with it, because it's just going to sit there the whole game and force my hand. So he takes there, and so now the rook is free to move, and I don't have to worry about this piece for a while. And so I can put it here and maybe try to start to push this one, or better yet, after all that effort, we may as well push this stupid ass horse out. So I'm a little bit in trouble on time, but I think I can manage. We can create some good threats like this. Obviously he'll push it, but only so far. He attacks the bishop there. This part can get a little bit annoying with how much he's going to push towards my king. Now what I could do is bring it outside. How clever would that be? And then there's not much he can do about it with the pawns. We're doing a not an octopus knight, but an octopus bishop. See, my instinct is just to go back and hide, but we don't need to do that anymore because the horse is gone. So we solved one of chess's major problems, is just get rid of the stupid horse. If he comes here, I would just take. So he's going to bring the rook and then come there and try to promote. So I'll come here and I can easily just squat there, covered by 2 pawns and also covering them back for whatever purpose that might serve. This could be a very alpha position for the bishop attacking the king. I thought at first this dark square bishop would be really bad, but it actually turned out to be decent. I shouldn't speak too soon, but I've only got 10 minutes, so it better be. So yeah, I don't know if I can do a whole lot about that, really. You can't just let him run rampant with these pawns. I wouldn't be able to take here, first of all. Or, I guess I could, but he would take, I wouldn't be able to take. And come like this. If he pushes there, it's just bad. I could do it, but it's not like it's even threatening mate. That's the problem with it. So what is his next logical pawn move? Pushing like that seems pointless. So he's either going to push, like, he's going to do this. So is there a way that I can counter that in any way? I would take, he would take, and check. Or I would let him take, I would take, and just let it be. Might be logical. So now the pawns can't push out the bishop in any way. They're just going to leave it there. So I'm going to let him take, I guess. Now we're creating a triple threat on here. Would that be worth it, I wonder? He would take, I would take. It's not good, but I don't know what else I can do. There's no reason for me to take. It's just stupid. This is hardcore tunnel vision, and I hope it pays off. Which one would I want to bring? I guess this one, just not to block the other one. He's going to push the pawn, but he can only push it once, because if he pushes it twice, then take, check. So he's going to do this. And then what happens? I could maybe push into here. He wouldn't be able to take it in any of those circumstances, so we're kind of staying on the same point. I could also do this into take, and then you'll have to take with the queen, which is perfectly fine. Like, it doesn't matter a whole lot. Unless he moves the queen, I shouldn't concern myself with that. So he can't really move the pawn up, otherwise I take. Only 8 minutes. That's my biggest weakness right now. Not even that I'll lose on time, but just I'll choke because of time pressure. And come like this and this and this. Very unlikely that he would allow me to do that. It also sets up for a double threat. Like, take this, he can't take back. There's a multifaceted move. What other plays does he have with the bishop? Not a whole lot. I'm trying to distract him from doing anything with my pawns. With his pawns, actually. So you come here, we set up for a mate, which he can easily prevent. Now, do I address it, or... He'll be able to take and give a check regardless, but... He's going to bring the queen. But then I could just... I don't know. The horse is not really involved. Now, I could take this one, so how does he deal with that? It might not be possible. Or he'll come like this. So you're threatening mate, and you're threatening mate in 2 and pawn take in 1. I don't think I'll do another one after this. This better be the one. Just don't get intimidated on time. Don't even look at the clock, although that's happened before where I just don't pay attention and then I do lose on time, and I had no idea it was going to happen. He moves the king itself, which is an interesting play, to be sure. So it shuts down the ability to take that as well. So I could threaten both of these. Doesn't really do a whole lot. Hey, Cookie, we can play after this one. Let's see. Come like here. Yeah, get the rematch because we didn't do that properly last time. I would take, if he takes, I take. This part of the game can always be hard for me. If I move this, he can push the pawn unabated. Damn it, now the bishop is kind of negated a bit. I'm just gonna do this, but I don't fully understand why. I thought he might try to threaten the dark square pawn and just give a check. You come in like that, he just takes. That was a really good king move, actually. I wouldn't have done that. If I take like that, he just takes back. Take into take doesn't really do anything for me. I guess it just opens up the diagonal so you could put this here. So I would take, he would take, and then I would actually get trapped because if I take, he takes, I take. I guess it's even, isn't it? This could end very badly for me. I just gotta go quick with it. He takes with the pawn. If he takes with the queen, I kind of prefer it. If he takes like that, take into check. I mean, this position favors me completely. There's no question about it. I'm still nervous though. The bishop is in a good spot, no question. If he puts it behind, then we can unleash into something sexy like that, where we could have checked with the... Okay. I just don't have time right now, dude. Just keep the threat going, double stack on the open file. We can give another check. Come on, how much could it take to deal with this king right now? And come even like this, that's just a mate. How does he stop? Oh, no, it's not. Where's he going to put the rook? He's going to try to check somewhere down here. It might take him too long to get there. So this would be mate. So what could we do to... I guess I can do this for now, but it's going to be a lot of back and forth movement. Or that's bad, because then he'll take. It looks so intimidating, but I actually don't know exactly what the deal is. Like, you just can't argue with this bishop's usefulness here, though. Even if it's maybe too deep. The king has taken a walk, so you can't really account for that. I don't know what I should be trying to even do. Come like this, take like this. Are we actually going to give up a promote amid all this chaos? I can't unattach. Actually, I could unattach it because, once again, the bishop is doing good work. I feel like that's a passive play. But I can't do anything else. So he'll do that and try to force the promote. My bishop is doing many good things, but protecting that way is not one of them. I guess I could check and force the take. Let's do this. And we can also threaten the pawn. I just don't have enough time to think every move through anymore. I'm not going to lose this game. The king can protect, something can happen, just... Come on. If he double stacks on the... No, I can force the trade, though. I can force it. He would take, I would take. So now the extra bishop is going to be what wins me the game. Although this is still scary, to be fair. He has to take. He blocks, I take, he takes. Now, the king can come in. And so it shouldn't be possible for him to do a whole lot with this position. The bishop alone would be fine for me. I think we did it. Well, let's just focus. He's going to try to cheese me on time. He'll go Super Saiyan mode. He attacks the bishop, which I guess... Is there any reason to still do that? Not really. We can take our time. Just take. I just love seeing the bishop camp in a spot like that. It's pretty unique. It almost feels like the Octopus Knight concept, but for the bishop. So he can't stop me from taking the pawn, and he has no pass pawn potential. So the king can't come through. If he trades rooks, I win. If he doesn't trade, I can still win, but it'll just be a little bit slower. My king could take this and then... Okay, this is kind of important just to see which way I want to go. If I go here, he comes down. I can't take, I could cover there. It's like I don't want to block the rook, but I also want to keep the king out. This seems like a lazy, passive, stupid kind of play, but it's fine. I am known for those. It's like I would want to do the same thing again, just check and force the trade, you know? He'll take this guy. I'm gonna give a check. And can we involve the bishop somehow? That's the biggest question, to be able to do this. Give a check. Give another check. This is a very important pawn, though, because then he'll pass. In fact, I kind of just fucked myself because now I can't come back to it. Ah, what the fuck? You come like this. Oh, now I can't. Shit. Okay, let's just reset our way of thinking. There was no need to make it that dramatic. I mean, really all I would want is a stupid rook trade, but he's not giving it to me. He has such limited options. I guess I'll try to give a check with this. I could move my king around a bit, but only so far. There's no way he's going to make it a draw. Although it does look possible. You have a check with the bishop, which doesn't actually do a whole lot. That shouldn't really open up too much for him. The dream would be just to check in to take the rook. I'm going to try not to read chat too much at the end because I don't want to do some crazy obvious thing that probably I should do, but that I didn't come up with myself. Just give a check for the fuck of it. And then doesn't really accomplish anything. He's not going to let me trade for the rook. All of his pawns are on light squares. I could give another check with that still, but so what? I could do like this and guarantee a take on the pawn. But then he can't threaten the bishop either. Okay. Give a check, take. He can't stop it. Okay. Fuck. I just get too tense when time is low. Like, I wasn't making mistakes like that the whole game. Give another check, but then he takes the... What the fuck? He get forked by the king? Really? Take the fucking bishop, dude. 1, 2, 3. The king kind of makes it a little bit harder to do. If he commits there, I can just leave it there. But the king can't cross. He's gonna push this one, this one. There's too many pass pawns now. Fuck. You can't really even use time as an excuse because it is a 30-minute game. Like, it shouldn't come down to that. You can't bring the king in. He's gonna start to take these. So I guess I can just keep pushing. But now if he comes back, I just lose it, don't I? So since it's not being attacked, I can come behind. But then the king can come in and harass. I don't know. The king is gonna fuck it up. I mean, I played generally good. It's just I can't do it quick enough. You would think between these two he'd be able to promote before me. But let's see if he has one more fuck up in him too. He can't body block. He comes like that. I would take, he would take, then I would be able to push. Might still be pretty hard for him to prevent, actually, now that I look at it. His rook is kind of caught out a little bit. And if he took the pawn... Oh, that's what he should do. But then I would still have the rook active. 3 minutes left. He shouldn't be able to stop it. See, I'm not the only one who can make mistakes. At least I can kind of explain them away a little bit by time pressure, because I wasn't doing stuff like that the whole game. I still have a chance, right? I don't see what he can do. He can give a check, but that only helps me because it allows the king to finally meet this pawn here. Check, move, check, take. Nothing will allow him to work his way to cover that, I don't think. He could try to race me, but it's kind of too late now. I think that's the right way to do it. He's giving up the pawn for it. He can't give a check. He could push there, but a little bit too slow of a play. Okay, now we have to make sure that the promote doesn't happen, which shouldn't be too difficult. Come like this. Oh, he can do this stupid thing where it guarantees the promote. Oh, I can just check and take. Damn. 1600 for the first time ever. Nice. That was earned too. I played well the whole game. That was good. Let's see what... Now the Centipon thing's gonna be 80 plus to make me look like a fucking clown still. At least be 40, dude. 40 to 50? All his stuff on light square is pretty unfortunate. You messed it up. That was a fuck up by him. You got lucky. No, but I was up the whole game. I mean, with no king on the back rank, rook c8 just loses the pawn with your rook on d8. Oh, come on, dude. Come on. Why is it so high? I was doing so many 40 to 50 games. What happened to these people? Like, forget about me. They were getting like 50. I was getting like 40. Whatever. Okay, let's play this. I'm not going to do another classical one anyway. This is like my lucky piece set. Whenever it's a high stakes game, I go back to this one.